When you are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sidekicks with Heather Gudenkauf and Lolo. And today we have Lisa Unger, the New York Times and internationally best-selling author of 18 novels, including the next one coming up.
Including Confessions on the 745, coming October 6th.
So excited for that. So thank you, Lisa, for being here. And tell us about your sidekick, Jak Jak.
Oh, he just disappeared.
There you go.
Oh boy, this is Jak Jak. He is 8 years old and he is a Labradoodle.
Oh, okay.
He's like he's my shadow for real. Like he follows me everywhere.
How did he come into your life? Have you had him since he was a puppy?
We have. So I've always had rescue dogs. My husband was very allergic to dogs. And so we spent like a year kind of like shoving his face into dog fur.
Testing it out.
Just not to torture him, but just to see if we could find a dog that he wasn't allergic to. And it turned out that, let me get it back in there. It turned out that the Labradoodle was the dog that he wasn't allergic to. So we found a breeder here in our area, Tampa Bay Australian Labradoodles. And we put in a deposit on a litter. And then we waited like 9 months. We did 9 months for our fur baby. And he was actually, this is, my husband Jeff's, his mom had passed on before I met him. And Jak Jak was born on his mom's birthday, August 19th.
Oh, that's so sweet. And how did you come up with the name Jak Jak?
Well, so he's an Australian Labradoodle, which I'm not really 100% sure what that means. But we had just been to Australia and we had stayed in this house, this beautiful house called Jak Jak, which is supposed to be sort of indigenous for limestone, although, they were pretty sure that wasn't really what it meant. But that's what the house was called. So we had this like thought in our head, and then we're also sort of huge fans of The Incredibles. So we were obviously watching animated films long before my daughter was born. And so so I don't know if you remember in The Incredibles that the baby is named Jak Jak.
Yes.
There's this funny movie, like short film called Jak Jak Attack. And so ultimately that's why we wound up naming him Jak Jak, after the baby in The Incredibles.
That's so good. Does he have any, Jak Jak have any guilty pleasures in life?
Jak Jak is, okay, so he's super sensitive. He has a super sensitive tummy, of course. He has prescription food. He also takes medicine. And he can only have this treat, these Zooks peanut butter treats. So I guess this would be his guilty pleasure. And the other thing he loves to do is go to the BEACH.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to spell WALK.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or I'm gone. I have to leave.
Exactly. You're gonna just have to go. And so he loves to go to the beach, but when we take him to the beach, it's a whole sort of undertaking, of course, because he like eats sand and then he's like pooping sand for days, and then he was like throwing up, and he'll always get an ear infection because he has like floppy ears. And so but his main pleasure, his like daily everyday pleasure, of course, is his ball. And that's like that's his obsession. So usually it's a tennis ball, but we have some of these other, okay, sit. Go. And so stay where you are. Stay there. And so we play ball with him pretty much constantly. Like he basically just follows us around with the ball every day. Have a seat.
Does he do any checks? Like, Lolo,
yeah, he can do some checks. Okay, can you get up? Can you sit up? Oh, okay, no. Okay, wait, try this. Come down here. Okay, I don't know if you can see him. Let's see if I can. I can't really. All right, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Paw. Okay. Lie down. That's it. That's the extent of this trick. Okay, go back over here. Okay, good boy.
Yeah.
All right, show you. Paw. Okay, no, that was lie down. See, he kind of gets, it's always in order. It's like paw, you sit, paw, lie down. So he just skips right to lie down. I think that's good enough.
I'm impressed. Oh,
There you go. There's your paw. Good boy. There you go. Good
do,
boy.
do you have a favorite animal from literature, from like growing up or even today that sticks out with you?
My favorite animal from literature. I'm trying to think. I'm sure this will come to me like later. I think probably everybody, is in love with the owls from Harry Potter, right? I think that I I always just wanted, like, I have a kind of a bird obsession. Um, and I have always wanted to see an owl in the wild, and I never have, even though, we do a lot of sort of nature adventure type things for traveling. And so I've never really seen one, but I've always been super fascinated with owls. So I think that's probably what I'm going to go with.
That's good. Um, and I say this every time I get to talk with an author. For me, having a pet helps me so much creatively, just in the sense that uh, Lolo gets my mind off of the world and work and going for walks. And that seems to kind of help shake things loose for me when,
Yeah.
creatively. How about you? Does having Jak Jak contribute to your creative life or?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely my shadow, so he's always, right next to me when I'm working. He's always right there. He's either, right next to me at my feet. He's got a little bed in the corner of my office, but he's usually like just sort of he's usually right next to me. So I always feel like sort of very grounded by that. And then, of course, I mean, animals, much like children, they are really only, they really only like want to be in the moment, and they want you to be in the moment too. Like they sort of force you into the present. I think Karen Slaughter and I talked about this, like how we see people like out on their walk with their dogs and they're like on their phone, and you think, your dog wants your attention during that time. So I think that animals, like children, always kind of keep you in the moment. They always keep you focused on the present, and that's a gift of these little creatures. And of course, long walks and stuff like that. I think we've talked about this before too. It's a big part of the process. So just being able to to have him to sort of be my walking companion is always a nice thing.
Did you have pets growing up?
I did. Yeah. We had he was a lab shepherd mix, and his name was Bogey. And that was like my childhood dog, and he lived a really long time. I think he was almost 17 years old when he passed on, which is really, really long for a big dog like that. And he was like my parents' like third and most loved child, I think.
We had
And
a little
yeah.
poodle,
Oh, you did?
and growing up, and when she came to us, she was called Raven, from who we came
Oh.
from. And then my mom changed her name to Fufu. And then, like 4 years later, she got tired of that and changed it to Emma. So our poor dog had this.
She just kept changing the names.
Yeah, she did. So my childhood, I vowed never to do that to a dog.
Just one name. Yeah, I also had a cat, Truman, named after Truman Capote. And I had him for I also had him for almost 17 years as well before he passed on. And yeah, and he was like, just same like as Jak Jak, like my shadow, always like, on my lap or on my keyboard or whatever. So it was sad when he passed on, and now there's Jak Jak.
Yeah. So if Jak Jak could describe you in 3 words, either like a phrase of 3 words or 3 individual words, how would you describe you?
I like I don't know if I could do 3 words, but it would basically just be mommy throw the ball.
Oh.
I think that's it. He's always like kind of showing up with the ball in his mouth, like, and he knows too, like when I'm working, and he's pretty patient, but he has like an expiration date. Like he knows that once Ocean has come home from school and things start moving, he demands his time. And so he's got like a couple of ball times that he wants me to throw after lunch. And then after a certain point, there is like he is not going to leave me alone until I throw that ball. So that's like his main obsession. And so we have this very long room, so we wind up just throwing the ball indoors, and he like runs back because it gets super hot here in Florida. So after a certain point, it's not very fun for him to throw the ball outside. So we move inside once it starts to get super hot.
So much fun. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for sharing Jak Jak with us, and
Thank you.
so grateful that you're here with us, and we can't wait for Confessions on the 745 coming
Thank you.
October 6th, correct?
That's right. That's right.
For that. Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.